everyone, and welcome to Energy Wednesday. I'm Sharon Moriwaki. Co-hosting with me is Ray Starling.
Hello, Sharon.
And we have our negawatt moment to begin with. So, Ray, take it away.
We always start with a negawatt moment, and that's because negawatts, or the non-use of electricity, is the thing that we're really aiming at. I work for Hawaii Energy, and we have this negawatt moment that is sponsored by Hawaii Energy that we do every week on the show, and we try to get people familiar with the things that are going on at Hawaii Energy that can help our clients to actually save energy. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Lisa Harmon, who is one of our key people at Hawaii Energy, who takes care of our clean energy allies. And she's going to tell us about something coming up, and I'll turn it over to you, Lisa.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ray. Well, today I wanted to let you know about an event that Hawaii Energy is putting on in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce, and it's to help our clean energy allies in the restaurant equipment business and also the restaurant customers that we have out there, or anyone actually with a commercial kitchen. It could be restaurant owners and management, hotel folks, institutional bakeries, sorts of things. We have an event, it's called Plate Up Your Profits. So it's going to be an afternoon mixer on Monday, November 9th from 1:30 to 4 p.m. at Kapolei Golf Course. And this event is to let all of the restaurant owners know about the special rebates that we have for purchasing energy efficient kitchen equipment, I should say. We offer energy efficient funding towards the purchase of that new equipment that can really help offset their energy costs in the long run. So as I mentioned, there'll be equipment vendors there, and leading industry experts will be there giving a presentation on our program about how you can save energy and money in your business. We'll have the USDA there to talk about energy efficiency grants they have for purchasing equipment, Board of Water Supply, and several of our clean energy allies that provide and sell restaurant equipment.
So are they going to be golfing? Golfing with the equipment?
No golfing, but it's a beautiful venue to be at, a beautiful location.
So is it going to be on the golf course, or where are you going to be on it?
On the terrace there, right overlooking the golf course. There's a banquet room and a terrace there, so that's where we'll be. We'll have some poo-poos and beverages for you, and lots of great information about how to save energy. Or again, 1:30 to 4 p.m. That's Monday, November 9th at Kapolei Golf Course. So please, you can call the Chamber of Commerce. They are taking the reservations for us, and that number is 380-2608 if you're interested in attending. Again, if you have a restaurant in the hotel, or you're a restaurant manager, or even a bakery, anyone with a commercial kitchen could absolutely benefit from this sort of information.
So is it free, Lisa?
And it's absolutely free, the best part. Yes, it is.
And there will be food.
And there will be food,
Okay.
yes.
Good.
So, so what kinds of people have already signed up, or have you had the sign up already?
Yeah, we just started the sign up, but as I mentioned, we'll have great leading industry experts there, our allies that work with us to promote their energy saving equipment and help. There are partners that help us promote the Hawaii Energy program that bring these services and the equipment to the business.
So what types of equipment?
Kitchen equipment, let's see, ice machines, steam ovens, I think they're called. Anything that you would use in a restaurant. Restaurants are very energy intensive when you compare them to other types of businesses, because they have a lot of, obviously, cooking, the heating, and the keeping things warm or keeping things cold.
Too.
And it's constant. Refrigeration, even lighting is huge for restaurants. And we have as well lighting programs to help restaurant owners become more energy efficient. Just by changing out their lights, they can save a lot of money.
Wow, that's great.
On their bill, yeah.
Well, one of the things that's been popular in the past is when you rinse off your dishes, if you don't have a mechanism where you can shut off the water, you end up having a lot of hot water being wasted while you're moving around, moving dishes, and not actually rinsing them. So we give away the shower,
The spray nozzle,
spray
yes.
nozzles that
So it's
are
only for the
controllable.
restaurant business, not about
Well,
homeowners, you know,
well,
that do the same thing.
We've got some other things for homeowners we'll talk about next week.
And any incentives? So, you know, you usually give little incentives for people to do things.
We're going to have some door prizes at the event to come, but you know, it's a great incentive just to come and find out about this. If you're going to make a purchase of energy efficient equipment, this rebate will help, you know, make your money go further.
Mm-hmm. Good. Ray, anything else?
No, I think we've got a great show today, and we've started it off with a good negawatt moment, and I think we ought to get on. We've got quite a crowd here
Right,
with
we
us
do.
today. So
I'm excited about our
looking
special
forward to
guest.
that.
But I do want to make one announcement, another energy efficient area which is dear and near to us. Ray and I are EV owners, and there's a new supercharger that will be installed and blessed tomorrow at the Windward Ko'olau Center with HECO and Bishop Street Commercial LLC. So it's going to be at 11:30 tomorrow. So any EV owners, come on down to Ko'olau Center and join HECO and Bishop Street Commercial to open up another AV charger.
Absolutely. Good.
So, okay, great. So Lisa, any last words?
Thank you. Well, just hope to see all the restaurants, supermarket, deli people there. If you're interested in attending, please call 380-2608 to sign up, and we'll reserve you a spot on our event Monday, November 9th at 1:30 in the afternoon at Kapolei Golf Course.
So one more question. If
Yes.
they haven't reserved a spot, can they still come?
They can, but we would just like to know how many people are coming, so we have enough food, of course.
Of
It's good to
course.
let us know in advance, but can contact us at Hawaii Energy if you're interested as well, hawaiienergy.com.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay.
Aloha, my name is Justine Espiritu, and I co-host Hawaii Farmers Series with Matthew Johnson of Oahu Fresh. We talk about Hawaii's local farmers and their supporters. In order to have a vibrant and sustainable local food system, farmers are always the foundation, but there's so many other people involved in the community that help support those farmers. So we bring those folks onto our show every Thursday at 4 p.m. We get their backstory, their history, find out a little more about them, and we find out why they love what they do and their perspective and their advice on how we can continue to have a dynamic and vibrant and sustainable local food system. So we broadcast live every Thursday at 4 p.m. and you can also catch us on ThinkTech's YouTube channel as well as Alelo 54. So we hope you tune in and join us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ethan Allen. I host Likeable Science on ThinkTech Hawaii, and I do this because I care about science literacy in Hawaii. I want to spread the understanding that science is a vital and interesting part of everyone's life. I want to make sure the broadest possible spectrum of people understand the beauty and the value of science and realize that science plays out each and every day of their lives. I want you to understand that science is fun. So we bring onto this show each week guests who are scientists, from astronomers to zoologists, and we talk about what they do and how they do it. But most importantly, we talk about why you should care about their work, why you should see that their work has value and impact on your life. So I hope you'll join us Fridays, 1 p.m. here on ThinkTech Hawaii. You can watch us via live stream. You can watch us recorded on Olelo, and you can see us each week. We hope you'll join us.
Aloha, I'm Kirsten Baumgart-Turner, and I host Sustainable Hawaii every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. My guests offer insights on challenging economic and environmental issues facing our state and offer innovative solutions to increasing Hawaii's long-term sustainability. Recently, we've been focusing on sustainable land development, food, and energy security. If you have a project or issue you'd like to discuss on the show or would like to be a guest, please contact me at kirstenbturner@gmail.com and tune in live weekly or view the show at your convenience at thinktechhawaii.com. Mahalo.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I'm a senator from the Big Island in the ER position. Every other Tuesday, I get to host a show here on the Think Tech program about healthcare. We call it Healthcare in Hawaii. It's really enjoyable for me to bring other healthcare leaders from around the state to talk about our pressing issues. Hawaii has long been the health state, but we need to keep up the momentum, the inertia, and with your help and with your participation, we can come and share all of the big issues that are pressing day to day. Thanks for joining us every Tuesday, alternating weeks from 2 to 2:45.
Hi, I'm Jay Fidel. That's Ted Ralston. You know, Ted is the host of Where the Road Leads. It shows every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. It's about technology. It's about how people collaborating and solve problems with modern technology. It's where the road leads. We all know that. We should all be listening. Join us there, 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday. Now, what about that do you agree with?
All of it.
I knew he'd say that. Aloha. Say aloha.
Aloha.
Good.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, wishing you to welcome and join us to see us on Hibachi Talk on Think Tech Hawaii. Join my co-hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Andrew the Security Guy, every Friday from 1300 to 1345. We look forward to seeing you. We'll talk tech and we'll have some wee bit of fun. And remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be. Aloha!
How many? Aloha and welcome back to Energy Wednesday at Hawaii, the state of clean energy. And so glad to have special guests today. We always talk about, are we creating jobs for Hawaii in our energy sector? And today we're very pleased to have the Director of Labor, Linda Chu Takayama, and Phyllis Dayao, who is the Research and Statistics Division Administrator, and John Kontos, who is the lead researcher on an update of Hawaii's green workforce and looking at our energy jobs. So I'd like to start off with the Director of Labor.
That would be me.
That would be Linda, to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the Labor Department and just, you know, in total, sort of employment picture, and then move into green jobs and what we're, you know, all about is, are we creating new jobs in energy?
Well, we're very excited that just a couple of weeks ago, we announced that currently our unemployment rate is among the lowest in the country at 3.4%. The rest of the country is still up at about 5 something. We're at 3.4. What that means, and some of you out there who are employers might be feeling this as well, it's tough to find good people. And that is pretty much the case throughout all of the industries that I've been keeping in touch with. So there's a real competition for good folks out there. Part of what the Labor Department tries to do is to identify where the gaps are in employment and try to find ways to train people, to get them up to speed, hopefully in advance of the need. Sometimes we're not always ahead of the curve. So that when the demand occurs, the skilled folks are right there, ready to step into those jobs. In terms of the green jobs that you're referring to, it's a relatively new developing industry, so this is the right time to begin identifying where those jobs are, what's needed out there, and how do we get people up to speed to take those jobs.
That's good. And so in terms of the unemployment rate being so low, where is sort of the movement do you see in terms of where we need to be training people and where the gaps might be? Have you been able to identify certain areas?
We haven't on the green side, not so much yet. Certainly in other areas, we're looking at, for instance, a huge demand for jobs in the healthcare sector, all kinds, nurses, medical assistants, physical therapists, those kinds of jobs. And it's an industry that's a lot more mature than the green industry. So in the green industry, part of the challenge in the green industry is being able to identify what kinds of jobs are needed and what kinds of skills employers will be looking for. So that's an area that I'm hoping that you know, your efforts will help, as well as those of Phyllis and John.
You know, I think that the study, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I just wanted to kind of get the feel, lay of the land in terms of how the Labor Department does work with not only employers, but also looking at training institutions as well in terms of creating the skill sets for jobs.
There are all kinds of ways that we go about doing it. We put together what are called workforce development task forces, in which we bring together all of the various stakeholders, our department experts, as well as those at the university and within the industry sectors, to look at, or helping us develop, and as well as the economists, helping us develop where the jobs are and what's needed. In addition, we have a number of grant programs that allow us to provide internships, apprenticeships, to get people, you know, trained for those jobs, because most folks, you know, you need a little bit of training and practice before you can just kind of walk in and be able to do those jobs. I suspect for some of the energy jobs you're talking about, that might be the case, and we ought to be looking at maybe finding out what kinds of skills need to be developed.
Because it seems that in the energy area, because you're developing a new area, they probably will be like plumbers or electricians, and then they have to get more skill sets within their kind of base training and professional areas. And are you working, I mean, when you say grants, what kind of grants might be available? Is that the Department of Labor that gives them out, or do you help them work
It's
with?
primarily monies that come down through the federal Department of Labor, and many of them specifically for apprentice programs. So for instance, recently, you may have seen in the newspaper, we were awarded a $2.9 million grant for IT apprenticeships, because that's another big area that is very much in demand. And so we have our Workforce Development Division at the Department of Labor working to decide how we're going to put that together.
That's great. I mean, I'd like to see that in energy as well, clean energy. So I guess moving into the data, I guess you would need the data in order to actually be able to get these monies to say we have an industry and we need the need for training. So let's shift to Phyllis, who did the 2010 baseline study. And if you want to give us a little background on that.
Okay, back in 2009, we received federal funds for a labor market innovation grant. And what we decided to do with this funding was to do a survey of green industries and green employers. First, we had to come up with the definition for what is a green job, and that was quite a task. And so we came up with 5 different core areas, and we conducted a survey. We had 3 full-time staff. It was very, very difficult to do this survey. We did a cross-section of all islands and all industries to develop this baseline assessment. So we published the reports back in 2010. When the federal funding went away, the Bureau of Labor Statistics was supposed to take over and do a green goods and green services survey. A couple of years ago, that was one of the products that the Bureau of Labor Statistics did away with. Yeah, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to keep that baseline assessment up to date. By partnering with the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, we were then able to come up with an update to do a survey of clean energy jobs. We looked at two of the sectors that we identified back in the baseline: generate clean energy and energy efficiency. And so what we did was we tried to target the employers who participated in the baseline assessment and survey them along with other employers that we use other databases to try to find employers.
So how was your study, the baseline, different from this update? You say you took two of the five sectors or areas, and then you also focused on certain areas other than or the same as the baseline?
We pretty much looked at the baseline, yes, the same areas.
So what did you find?
Okay, can we go to John?
We can go to John.
John is our
the
lead
researcher here on your findings from your update.
Well, what we found is that there has been a significant increase of jobs in the two core areas that we examined, jobs that generate clean energy and jobs that contribute to energy efficiency. A huge increase compared to 2010 when the baseline assessment was done.
So what kind of increase has there been since the 2010? I mean, that's
number-wise, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, the numbers are in the...
5 years. In 5 years, where are we?
Well, a lot of things have changed. The number of jobs has increased by, I don't remember the numbers by heart right now, but
Or the
let's
percentage
see.
growth? 7.3%, right? 7% growth, is it?
No, that was the expected growth in jobs by 2017 compared to now. What
The projection.
Correct. The numbers are in this table here. 1 second. Is it? So in this table, I don't know if the camera can. Okay. So we can see.
Closer, up.
Yep.
Can
So
you
we
see
have
that?
a comparison of the jobs in the two core areas and the total number of jobs, the total number of energy jobs in 2010 and 2015. We can see that in 2010, the total number of clean energy jobs and energy efficiency jobs was 3816. Well, now it's 4,900. That's an increase of more than 1,000 jobs.
And where are the growth areas in terms of the jobs?
Well, it appears that, do you mean in terms of on which islands, where the jobs are, which
what kind of
industries?
jobs? What kind of jobs?
Well, it's mostly jobs in the solar industry, but there are also jobs in other renewable energy industries. There are also some jobs in smaller companies, startup companies that try to contribute to energy efficiency in different ways. Companies that provide information to businesses or homes on how to become more energy efficient. Businesses that try to find innovative ways to create clean energy. There are a lot of different types of ways in which businesses try to become part of this industry. But I would say that the vast majority of the jobs are in the solar energy industry.
You know,
And that was also
when
the
we
case.
look at creating an industry or sector, we look at needing the people to be able to work in those areas, and I think as the director has said, in terms of training and monies available to get the kinds of staffing that you need, that it really is focusing in on where the growth is going to be, so that you can actually get people who are qualified for those jobs. And I think, what kinds of things can you see from the data that you've collected as to where we might be, where the puck might be, so to speak, so that training can be appropriately offered? Phyllis,
The survey was cut back because of the amount of funding that we had in the baseline assessment, we were able to ask employers what kinds of training would they need for the employees that they required. In this survey, we didn't get to ask that question.
So that's
and
a big gap,
we
huh?
do need to develop more sector partnerships and get employers more involved. We really need the support of the associations that these employers are part of in order to get more responses. We tried various ways to get the information. We included some interns to help us with calling employers to get information. But in order to get the responses, just to get basic information about the kinds of jobs and vacancies, we really scaled back on the survey. But we really would like to involve employers more to get information about the kinds of skills and training their workers would need.
I think when we go to legislature and they say, how many people have you hired, right? so you're going to be faced with that. So
Yes.
I think, it's really critical to get the kind of information that you're developing now. And I don't know if you have thoughts or a director has thoughts in terms of how might we expand this on an ongoing basis so that we can get the kind of support from the employers out there, because what helps them is having the kind of information to develop more training programs as well as get support for this industry that's kind of fledgling at this point. We have a lot of PV, but that's not the only, the only area for clean jobs.
Right. We really need staff. The research office does not have additional staff to conduct this kind of survey. So,
it's always hard to get the data, and the data is so important.
The data. Yeah, we learned from this experience that a survey is the best way to get this kind of information, but it requires a lot of staff time, a lot of follow-up to get employers. They're on the roof, so maybe they don't want to go to the computer and do the survey.
But there are a lot of other areas, and I'm just thinking, how might, when you do your labor department surveys of the employers on an ongoing basis, it's not just energy, but it's when you do the full Monty, everything.
Right.
Now, how do you get those people, and maybe we've talked to the association like Hawaii Energy on how we can get more employers who are in the field to answer those questions to get the kind of data.
Yeah, it's really hard for us. Some surveys are mandatory, and those we get the responses from the employers because they want to be in compliance. But the surveys that are voluntary,
The industry really has to want it.
Right.
Government can only do so much, as you well know. We do what we can, but we're limited in terms of staff and funding for these kinds of things. But government's also responsive when the industry demands it. So in the case of, for instance, healthcare, it's, nearing crisis proportions. And so they have demanded it of us, of the legislature. And so as a consequence, we have been given an appropriation to put together a healthcare workforce advisory board that's going to be looking at these things, that will be identifying gap areas and opportunities for training and that sort of thing. But we haven't had that kind of response from the energy sector. And I think if there is a need in the energy sector, and I don't know whether it's from a particular portion of that industry, whether it's solar, whether it's renewables, or whatever it is, or efficiency, whatever it is. We haven't heard that.
No. Okay, you heard that, everybody. Call Linda Chu Takayama. Say, we demand that we have information on energy and jobs in the energy sector, because there definitely is need for good employees. And I think it's just not knowing what to do to get that kind of support. So let's keep calling the labor
Hopefully
department.
they're all watching.
They're all watching and calling in. So, okay, so moving on into what might be the kinds of things that employers could be doing to call and tap into what the Labor Department is doing, because you have a lot of programs in the Labor Department, from the metrics that you collect and what you do with it to, as you say, the internships and the apprenticeship programs and training programs that the energy sector should know about.
It could well be in terms of, for instance, some of our apprenticeship programs. We do apprentice programs.
Okay, we're going to hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Aloha, I'm Keli'i Akina, president of the Grassroot Institute and host on Ehana Kako, a weekly program on the Think Tech Hawaii broadcast network. Ehana Kako means let's work together. Think of the sad alternative, let's not work together. Here in Hawaii, with all of our diversity and the richness of the people, it's important for us to come together around issues on the basis of what's right and what's good and what's going to serve the common good. And that's what we try to do at Ehana Kako. Every week, we interview movers and shakers, people in government, business, and other sectors of society to talk about how to create together a better government, economy, a better world here in Hawaii that can bless the rest of the world. I thank you for your attention to Think Tech Hawaii, and we look forward to seeing you every Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. on the Think Tech Hawaii broadcast network. We're Ehana Kako, and we wish you well. Aloha.
Hi, my name is Cindy Matsuki, and I host High Growth with HTDC, where we talk about all things tech, innovation, entrepreneurship, and manufacturing, because there are tons of things that are happening in Hawaii in those fields, and we like to share them with you because more people should know about them. This show broadcasts live every other Tuesday at 3 o'clock on Think Tech Hawaii, and tune in, and we'll see you then. Thank you.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I'm a senator from the Big Island. I work in the ER there. But on Tuesday afternoons, I get to come and spend 45 minutes to an hour with Jay Fidel and the Think Tech staff. They're terrific professionals. They help us to bring some of the leading cutting-edge topics here across our state to you. So you can join us at our show on healthcare in Hawaii to talk with leaders from across all the spectrum of health in our state, or you can join us for any other show where we talk about economic development or tourism or some really eclectic programs too. So really, we'd love to see you here on our show. Thanks for joining us and thanks for supporting us.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, asking you to come join us on Think Tech Hawaii Hibachi Talk. Join me and my two hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Ender the Security Guy, every Friday from 12:45 till 13:45. See you on Fridays, and remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be.
Well, we're back, and as you can see, we played a little switcheroo on you. Sharon is over there taking a rest, and I'm Ray Starling. I'm a co-host for today's show. And we're going to bring it on home now, and we've got with us a crew from the Department of Labor, starting with Linda Takayama, Director of the Labor Department, and Phyllis Dayao, Research Chief, and John Conti, who's a researcher.
No, Kontos.
Kontos. Oh, sorry. Okay, well, we are talking about labor and green jobs and how it's difficult to get a lot of information that's necessary for you guys to do your job. And we're also looking at what the Labor Department is going to be doing out there in the future in terms of helping the green jobs training and so forth that needs to be done. And I'm stepping in where Sharon left off, and we were talking with Linda. Linda, you were going to tell us a little bit about sort of what's next, what's out there next, and especially in terms of green jobs and what needs to be done. How can we help and how can we get the word out to others so that they know?
Yes, unfortunately, there's no magic bullet here, and we don't have anything necessarily on the back burner for green jobs. What would be helpful in that regard is for us to receive information, whether it's from employers or from the industry association maybe, as to what sorts of things might be useful to them, what kinds of occupations could be helpful, because we're not sure we even have a handle on that. Some of Phyllis's research doesn't break down quite that finely in terms of numbers of people in each one of the occupations. So it's hard for us to then get a handle on where the real gaps are and what kinds of training we need to provide if we don't really know how many people are needed and how many jobs are vacant. So in that respect, when the employers or the trade associations can work with us to make that kind of data available to us, we're much better able to help them. For instance, in the case of the study that John just did, that was a lot of work, and I think very representative of the industry as a whole, but it's based on a relatively small sample. And it would be much more useful to both the industry and to us if there was a great deal more participation. And it does take time out of a busy day, and particularly when you're talking about small employers, which most of these are, relatively small companies. They're so busy out there working, making things happen, making a buck, that they, they don't have as a high priority filling out a survey form. So it's kind of hard to get that message across about maybe the long-term benefit of that sort of thing.
I understand that. When we came in 2009 and took over the energy efficiency program, we had a real problem. You have to have a pipeline, and it takes a while to get a pipeline going. And you have to show the need, first of all, because nobody will want to teach something that nobody can find useful, right? And so I share the concern and how do we get this to happen? And we've kind of found trial and error that we need to get out there and find groups that we can engage to do the special training, because a lot of times there's not that big of a demand, but there is a demand. And once you get it started, it will take on a life of its own, but getting it started is very difficult. And so we've had to throw some of the money at those programs for training that would otherwise be going to be incentives for people to do energy efficiency work. But I can tell you from our point of view in the industry and from what you read every day in the newspaper, I think there's going to be a great place for anyone who is very knowledgeable and trained to do energy work of all sides out there in the future, because of the changes that are taking place in the energy world, and you just see it every day in the newspaper. So I think this will continue to grow. But I want to try to encourage people to, and we will, now that I know what you do, I think we will pay you a visit and talk to you about sort of what we see on the energy efficiency side that might be helpful to us, because we do have things, we have a limited number of people who are qualified to do some of the work. And so sometimes, you end up not being able to get the work done because you can't find qualified people. And that's a bad thing, especially as you said, that the unemployment rate is way down here. So everybody who can work is already working for the most part. And so it's hard to find somebody. And bringing somebody from the mainland to do the work is virtually impossible. It's very, very difficult to do. So I don't know if you have other things that you would like to express today, but we certainly would encourage you to, after this is over, to sort of talk a little bit about what we might do and have a new program sometime in the future where we can get together on some more detail about how the Labor Department can help employers and help people like us to find the right training and so forth for our needs. So do you have any thoughts or any predictions for the future?
I don't have anything specific, but we would like to be helpful to the extent we can. As you have heard before, the funding isn't always there. So to the extent that we're looking at a kind of a new upcoming industry that people want to have succeed, sometimes there are grant funds available, and for those folks who have their fingers in those pies, if they would keep us in mind, that would be helpful, and that would allow Phyllis and John to continue the good work that they've already done in helping us identify and put some real fences around what we're looking at in terms of this industry. That would be helpful. Given those kinds of numbers, we can then take it to the University of Hawaii, or even some of the other private schools, and maybe help them understand that it would be to their benefit to open up programs that could provide the training and support the industry. But you know, it all does really start with the data, and so if we can scramble up some of the funding that it would take to develop that data, I think that's probably where it starts. Other than that, the Labor Department stands ready to hear what the industry views as some of its needs and concerns, because that's what we do.
Very good. Well, we want to thank all three of you for coming and being our guests today. And this was new. I don't think we've heard from the Department of Labor before here, and especially the work you're doing with the green jobs, which we're very interested in. We'd like to hear more, so let's put a mark on the calendar and have you guys come back and talk, and we can talk ahead of time and get some specifics down that we can dig deep into. So I'd like to thank Department of Labor for giving us their three top people here today to help us to understand better what's going on out there, and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much, and that's about it. Sharon Milwaukee, myself, Ray Starling, co-host for today's show, and next week we think Jay will be back, and we'll be helping him out as well at that time. So join us next week, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much.